Welcome back to another exciting episode of Spitball Media Podcast. This is a weekly look of us spitting out the top entertainment stories of the week. Shah, and it is a Lollapalooza this week, is it not?
Yeah, WrestleMania came early for our show, man. We have so much shit to talk about, and it's all important topics that we can't really skip over. And on top of that, for the Patreons, we're going to be going over, I think, 6 trailers, which is I think that's a record for this show. 6 trailers. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right. B-Show, right? I mean, I don't know that we've had this much big stuff. I mean, this is all big stuff. Big stuff.
Enormous, huge stuff, as the Orange Goblin would say. Yeah, I mean, just trying to put the list together for tonight's shows just to make sure we're on the same page was a daunting task tonight. So you guys are in for a fucking a big show, a B show. What big show?
A big show.
Stuck in my head. I hope you guys packed the lunch because it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to. I'm John Draper. He is Shaheen. He is B-Show Brian. We are the Spitball Media 3, as we're affectionately known to no place, really. But if you're joining us for the first time, thanks for checking us out. You picked a really good week, let me tell you. But consider going to patreon.com/Spitball Media. That's where you get thousands, well over 1,000 hours, Shah, if I'm not mistaken, of original content, extended shows, theme shows, the entire Break the Apocalypse catalog, question and answers, and more.
Yeah, and essentially you get 2 shows for one, because Break the Apocalypse was a completely different vibe. So, if you want to go back to the back catalog and check that out, we have I don't know, over 100 episodes probably, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have? God only knows. Good Lord.
Yeah, I think we've done over 100 Break the Apocalypse, and we're probably at 30 or 40 episodes of Spitball Media. So,
well, we've done what? 52
and that's not even
shows.
counting.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, we never skip. I think we skipped once maybe in the whole time we've been here. But you want to go there? It's $5 a month. B-Show Brian, you're really good at math and money and stuff. Isn't it just an affordable premium program package rate?
It is. And I have to correct myself. I said the Biggie meal was the Biggie bag was $5 a week or two ago. It's not. It's now $7 depending on what you get. So you can't even inflation can't even keep up. It just keeps going and going. Yet Spitball Media in the back catalog and the bonus shows is still $5 a month. So jump on it.
And Shah, we're inflation proof here, right? We haven't even intimated raising it a nickel.
yeah, I actually just bought this iced tea, $3.79. So with tax, it's almost $4. So yeah, almost the Patreon money in a fucking green tea from Panera.
Yeah. And of course, thank you to the many people who've been keeping the lights on in this place all through the Break the Apocalypse run. And now as we focus mainly, almost exclusively, well, dare I say exclusively, on entertainment news. We're covering films, we're covering music, we're covering the top entertainment stories, everything topical. We're giving you movie suggestions. We've been doing some little bit of underground, not so much underground, but maybe underrated gems, B-Show Brian. The 80s one was a big hit last week.
Yeah, in fact, the one thing that amazes me is every time we do a show like that, people come back a week later and we see posting shows that we talked about on social media. And I don't know if it's just because we're introducing people to stuff they haven't seen, or if it's just because, I don't know, the algorithm is trying to stay ahead of us or whatever. But no, it's cool, man.
Yeah, it is cool. Shah, there was a whole big post about that movie 3 O'Clock High that I mentioned last week the other day. And I was like, Jesus Christ, we just talked about this. And everyone's like, every Gen X person will tell you this movie's a classic, even though it was a bomb at the box office. But that's what people are here for, Shah. They want to hear about that stuff.
Yeah, I think more than ever, people are really into countdowns and top 10s and stuff like that. Even if you pay attention on YouTube, I'm a big horror guy on YouTube as far as a viewer. The ones that get millions of views are always the top 10s and recommendations and things of that nature. You'll never see a review of, I don't know, Basket Case, hit 1 million, but you might see a top 10 of best practical effects in horror hit 1 million. You know what I mean? So I think people just like countdowns and recommendations in general. I personally do so.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes, I think people discover stuff and they're actually going, I haven't watched a good slasher movie in a while, B-Show. Let's see, maybe there'll be something in here. Because I know I take a lot of that even from Necromaniacs and so from some of the other people like Sam Hoyos at Red River. I'm always finding new shit from other people.
Yeah, and like that In Search of Darkness series that came out, they're going through like 80s into 90s. And like I was on the treadmill one day just watching that show, and I thought, oh, I'll know most of these. And then they'll drop like these random ones that I've never seen before. And I'm like, wow, okay, I got to check that out. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of In Search of Darkness. It's probably one of my favorite things I've ever seen on Shudder. But thank you to everybody for supporting the show. And a special program note, I assume at some point in the next 4 or 5 days, we're going to be dropping a Q&A, okay? So it's really important. If you can get that stuff in, in the next couple of days, if you're a Patreon member, normally we have a shit ton of questions. And sometimes we worry about having to split it. But I know it's been a few months, but the Q&A is back. It's back to stay. Shah, I know I'm looking forward to the Q&A. I know it's your favorite show of the month.
Absolutely, man. I've missed it. We're almost at 5 months now. I'm taking a break from it. So
yeah, well, it's back, and get your questions in over at Spitball, patreon.com/Spitball Media, $5. And yeah, so big week in entertainment. It's been a very interesting, actually, 24 hours in the world of wrestling. Well, 48 hours. But I want to just jump into this real quick. The Oscar nominations came through early, and there's some pretty big, cool news there. Let's just get the coolest part of it right out of the way. As you know from listening to the show, and basically everybody who's seen it, Godzilla -1, which is now well over, I think, 100 million globally. And it was by the way, guys, they assessed the budget was 10 million, not 15 million. It is actually 10 million. So it has officially made 10 times its budget at the box office globally, which is phenomenal, which is currently now going to have a weekend black and white run in limited theaters. I have 2 showings by me. They're awful times, but I really want to see it again, and I want to see it in black and white. I just can't even imagine what that looks like. But the big, as far as we're concerned, and a lot of our friends are concerned, news, Godzilla -1 breaks 70-year-old record with an actual Academy Award nomination for Best Special Effects. If you haven't seen the YouTube video of the dozen or so, I think it's 25 people working on it, watching in Japan live, to see if they got a nomination, watching them celebrate. It's probably one of my favorite things on the internet currently. Shah, your thoughts on something that seems like it should happen and it should be like a normal practice, but just absolutely improbable. Because I mean, that speaks volumes. I know you haven't seen the film, but you've heard nothing about this film for months. It speaks volumes for the quality of what this is and how much this actually has meant.
which is kind of in fact shocking because like a lot of movies like Avatar, these big budget movies, they seem like they don't have better graphics than something that costs 10 million in Japan. So, I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan. I haven't seen it, but out of all of them, I think I'm more intrigued by this one than the American made ones with Kong and all that other shit. I wasn't too much into those. I've seen some of those, but this one I would check out. I definitely want to see it in black and white. Even if I don't catch it at the theater, I'm hoping, once they release it on physical, I'm sure the 4K disc is probably going to include the black and white.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
it's definitely
that's what I'm thinking.
So either way, I'm going to check it out eventually. I actually, what would you recommend? Would you recommend checking it out in black and white for the first time or going color?
Wow, B-Show, what do you take that one? I couldn't even imagine seeing it for the first.
I'm probably going to end up getting it. I'm going to end up getting it on disc. So the first time I see it is probably going to be on my own television. So I'm wondering if I should go full color the first time, or because the black and white screenshots, dude, they look fucking crazy. They look amazing.
Let them know.
I don't know. I watched part of the boat chase. I don't know if it was footage, actual black and white from the movie, or if someone changed it, but it looked really good. I think overall the shots of destruction of the city and stuff like that, like the aftermath, will probably look really good in black and white. But I don't know. I like the color too, because when you see the scales pop up and the blue nuclear shit fly out, I mean, I'm kind of partial to that when there's effects, but I definitely could dig the black and white too, man.
B-Show Brian, you went and saw this film after I did, and you literally had the same reaction that which many of our friends and people we know have had. What was your thoughts when you saw it got this, like I said, seemingly improbable? Like in the real world, this, of course it should get it, right? But this has never happened. It was such a long shot, and to see it get this level of respect, I mean, what were your thoughts when you saw this the other day?
Not to sound like Dick Vitale, but it's a Cinderella story, baby. It's just never would have thought this would, especially with the history of American Godzilla movies. I never thought this would have even got a sniff of a fucking Oscar or award. And I did see some backlash. There were some people saying, of course it only costs 10 million. They're paying, super low wages to these people, but prove that. Come on. I haven't seen
That's a
anything
little.
about that other than assholes on Twitter talking about it. So, and then you sent this over, you were talking about it, them
Mm.
celebrating
Look at that. I mean,
their
look at
nomination. How can you not root for these people, man?
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is incredible. Look, we'll get into some categories. We'll see what its competition is in a minute, but this to me is like Revenge of the Nerds. Like, and I don't mean the film, I mean the Revenge of the Nerds. I mean, I feel like honestly, Shah, I feel like we've kind of gone full circle. No, there is nobody who would have said in their lifetime, yeah, like one day a Godzilla movie could win an Academy Award. You know, do you think? Let me ask you something. I'll ask you both this, and then we'll get to the categories. Do you guys think this is an anomaly? Do you think this is just so much social pressure because this is one of the best reviewed and most profitable global films? Or do you think maybe this is opening a door because it does seem like the Oscars has changed dramatically in the last few years? What do you think, Shai? You think this is going to be a one and done forever with horror and sci-fi in that regard? Or could this be a door opener for other types of films?
I was always under the impression that Godzilla was regarded as like, an actual serious movie that people respected. So, the Academy Awards nominating it for what that doesn't surprise me as much as like a horror movie would. You know what I mean? Because again, Criterion like put out that whole set of Godzilla. Criterion puts out films that are actually respected masterpieces. You know what I mean? So I mean, they do. That's what I kind of view them as. Like the Arrow Video, they'll put out Basket Case and fucking Reanimator. Criterion would never do that. They only put out, literal masterpieces. So it doesn't surprise me that much. It'll surprise me more when we get some more horror in there because that gets no love. And I feel like A24, like I can't name anything that I don't think Talk to Me deserves one or anything like that. But a movie like Hereditary, like that still pisses me off that wasn't
Yeah,
nominated.
performance wise too. I think also
Lighthouse,
performance original screenplay. Lighthouse got a lot of props like on the indie world. Beach
yeah.
O'Brien, is this one and done? Is this the new world? Are we celebrating because we know our team's never winning the Super Bowl again here?
Maybe. I could also see them like they're adding categories to certain award shows, like the big budget, big box office movies that aren't necessarily critically acclaimed. What is it like viewer's choice or something like that? I'm trying to remember which one they made up this year.
Yeah, it
So
was like black. Yeah, it was some shit like that. They made the shit up.
yeah, so I could see them like carving out other things to like honor movies like this. I think Godzilla minus one just surprised everybody because Godzilla is a really old property. It's seen as being very innovative in certain ways. I think people have seen the American versions kind of shit the bed the past couple of years where they're these big like popcorn movies, but there's not really anything artistic to them. And then this movie comes along and the performances are amazing. The story is written so well that I was very surprised to see them get any nominations. And I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, like you said, Revenge of the Nerds, man. I'm rooting for the little guy on this one.
Yes, Revenge of the Nerds. And let's say hello to some of our fellow nerds in the chat, and then we'll go over the Academy Awards. We got our good buddy Joe Punches there. Emmanuel Rojas, my friend. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Chris Matthews, of course, and of course Kevco TV is joining us. Thank you to you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We really, really appreciate it. My buddy Marquise is with us, of course. Slave Cheeks, how are you? Yeah, we're gonna talk. Wow, look at that shot. Look at that black and white shot though with the boat. Jesus Christ Almighty, man. Look at that motherfucker. Shah,
Yeah, I
I
think I'm
can't
gonna
wait.
enjoy the black and white version for sure.
Oh, look at this.
I
motherfucker.
think black and white also hides like some bad graphics also. It makes it
Mm,
look more practical than it does like with digital graphics. Because that looks like it could be practical effects. That looks like a
it
Jaws
does.
type of thing. But if you saw it in color, you'd easily know it's CGI.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is your last chance, people. If you haven't seen it, you're sick of hearing us talk about it. I feel like a lot of you have seen it already, but it is playing. I have two showings. I don't. The times are just terrible. It's like 3:30 and 4:30 in two separate theaters. B show, and
Mhm.
that's it. But my God, I just feel like if I went, I would just like mark out like total herb. Um, congratulations. And we're gonna see. We'll find out. The big Oscar night is coming up. So let's run down some of the categories. Now, obviously, there is some controversy. I don't really feel it as a controversy, but it's apparently a top news story in the entertainment world. One thing I want to bring up real quick is Leonardo DiCaprio was not nominated for Killers of the Flower Moon. This is a huge surprise to me. Shocked. I could not believe it. This was probably some of the best work he's ever done. Anybody who's seen the film will probably tell you this might be one of the best things he's ever done. Many people are, wondering why that is. I mean, I don't know. It's a crowded field, but that was a big shock to me personally. That because I had predicted that was one of the ones I did not get. I had Leo not to win. I think Cillian Murphy is rolling through. But B, can we pull up the categories here, if you don't mind?
Mhm.
Obviously, the big winner, no matter what, is Oppenheimer on paper. I believe Shah. It's been nominated for a record 13
14.
Academy Award. 14,
Yeah, 14.
and
Um,
now Martin Scorsese becomes the most nominated living director, beating Spielberg, I believe, with his 10th.
yeah, I'm not sure. I know Scorsese has 10 nominations for Killers this year though. So hopefully he wins something, but apparently every time he's nominated for 10 awards, he never wins.
Oh
And
God!
that happened with Gangs of New York and
Wow.
what else did it happen with? Happened with another movie.
Geez, I don't even know. I mean, but he is now shot. He's officially the most um nominated living director.
Right.
Him and
Deservingly
Spielberg,
so too. He's
deservedly so. And I think him and Spielberg are probably, we've said this a few times here, like him and Spielberg probably are the two best living
well,
directors.
yeah, living, yeah. Living.
Living,
I was
living,
gonna say
living.
Kubrick has to be in the top 3 because he's
Yeah, yeah, but Best Picture, as of I think about 8 or 9 years ago, they've extended, if not more, Best Picture. So we have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, which is an A24 movie, Poor Things, which is also A24, Shah, isn't it, or is it Neon?
no, it's I don't know what it is, but yo, did you know Poor Things? I think they had how many nominations did they have? 13 or 12?
Four. They had four. No, they had four, I
4?
think, of
No,
acting.
dude, I thought they had more.
Yeah, we could always look into that. I'm not
Let me
even
look up.
entirely
I'm
sure.
surprised by Poor Things though, man. The amount of love that is being poured out for that fucking movie.
It's supposed to be brilliant. It's supposed to be like one of the
Jesus.
most brilliant movies ever made.
Yeah.
This is a really I've seen half these films, all in theaters. I will say this: I would like to see American Fiction. I have to see Anatomy of a Fall. And guys, if you remember, we watched that Zone of Interest trailer. That is that Holocaust movie, very low key Holocaust movie about a family that lives nearby to a concentration camp.
That's
Holy,
A24 too.
holy fucking shit!
By the way,
Uh,
it's nominated for 11 Academy Awards, more than
Poor
Killers of the Flower
Things.
Moon. Yeah,
Wow. So the
11.
two top dogs there. I look, I don't think anybody's beating Oppenheimer. I honestly, guys, I just think that's the film. Um, I don't, but this is to me, honestly, I feel like any one of these movies, sans Barbie, could easily win. I don't know that I'm willing to make a bet on this, but I'm just gonna say we'll do some predictions of the obvious ones here. I think Oppenheimer is running through this. Shah, what do you think? I know you've seen Oppenheimer. You were impressed with it.
Yeah, I think Oppenheimer. I think that's gonna be a clean sweep for fucking Oppenheimer, dude. It's gonna win a lot this year. I think that's the predictions that like everybody has had pretty much is that Oppenheimer, it's gonna fucking take over. But
B show, if you had to make a bet here, what you throwing your money on?
Oppenheimer. I feel like Barbie was very popular and very fun, but I've heard way too many
Yeah.
filmmakers come out and say they didn't really get it. So maybe Oppenheimer was just too fucking good a film and just too well put together.
Yeah. Slave Cheeks wants us to pick the upset. I'm gonna, my upset's gonna be with this. Anatomy of a Fall. Honestly, that movie looks fucking genius. I know me and Shah are really excited to watch that film, right? Shah, like that just looks
yeah,
like Brilliant.
And that's a big deal for Neon, dude. Neon is a smaller company. They're much smaller than A24. That's pretty dope for Neon to have that. I would love to see Oppenheimer in black and white. That's another movie I would love to see.
Shah, a portion of it you've seen it is in black and white. There's a
but I
small
want full black and white. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
To do that.
Yeah, Kevco saying holdovers. Yeah, I'm so affectionate towards that film. Chris Matthews has been telling me about American Fiction. I love the plot of American Fiction. I love everybody in that movie. But it's also a comedy, like a dark comedy. I just can't see a dark comedy winning when we have movies like Anatomy of a Fall, Oppenheimer. Those kind of Killers of the Flower Moon. These are not comedies, Bisha.
No, not at all. And I was surprised Asteroid City didn't get nominated just because of the look of it.
Nothing. Not even a screen. I don't think it even got a screenplay award, which is odd, especially for that, for who made it. Let's look at Best Actor. This is a fascinating category because I think Cillian Murphy's just already won the award, but Bradley Cooper from Astro, Coleman Domingo in the biopic for Rustin, which is a very small film. Not a lot of people have seen it. Paul Giamatti, probably one of my favorite performances this millennial in The Holdovers. Of course, Cillian Murphy, the open favorite, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Jeffrey Wright, one of my favorite actors. I've liked Jeffrey Wright since the Basquiat fucking movie. This to me, guys, seems like it's a 2-horse race. I definitely think Giamatti is going to get a lot of attention here as behind the scenes as far as votes, but I'm putting my money on Oppenheimer. Shah, Oppenheimer here for Cillian Murphy.
I'm gonna have to say Oppenheimer because that's the only one I've seen out of this list. Interesting thing though, man. If you notice, no mention of Napoleon at all. They got 3 nominations.
Got nominated for nothing.
Yeah, and the nominations are for like costumes and special effects and set design. It's nothing for the actual
interesting
screenplay or the movie.
I did think of that actually, Shah, that he didn't get nominated.
Wild.
B-Show, Cillian Murphy, and this is like a knockout, probably.
I kind of feel like Oppenheimer's going to have a clean sweep because like Bradley Cooper also recently had like some controversy about, the way he doesn't want people to sit down on set and shit like that. And I don't know. I don't feel like anyone had as much heat as Cillian Murphy did going into Oppenheimer. It's just, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a 2-horse race here. If anything else came out of this, would be great. I've loved Jeffrey Wright forever. I like Coleman Domingo quite a bit. He doesn't have the name value, but if you've ever seen him in anything, you would know he's got such a presence and such a commanding voice. And I like Bradley Cooper quite a bit. My brother Mike thinks Maestro is like, keeps hyping it up to me, and I haven't had a chance to watch it because I got to watch it with my wife. Best Actress, Annette Bening for the biopic Naiad, also a very small film. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. Carey Mulligan, Great and Everything, Maestro. And Emma Stone in Poor Things. Now, this is a little tricky for me because this to me is this could go a couple of different ways. I actually think Emma Stone, in any other year would be walking away with this award, but there seems to be almost dare I say social pressure on making sure Lily Gladstone gets it, who I think deserves it. I've seen the movie twice. But I don't know about putting money down. I would say a pick 'em between Gladstone and Emma Stone. Now, Shah, obviously you've heard the same things I've heard about Emma Stone's performance in Poor Things.
Yeah, I want her to win just because she's associated with the movie, and I want Yorgos to get more recognition because that guy is very original. He's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
I would just love to see him do bigger films like this and not lose his edge. You know what I mean? Like he's the type of guy that I think his style is always going to stand out. And he's made a huge leap from fucking Dogtooth to what this looks like. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited for him, man. I'm excited to see where this goes, but I can't wait till that comes out on physical media, man, because I missed it in the theaters and it's not playing anywhere anymore. So.
Well, it'll be back in. Everything's coming back this weekend. If you look at your theaters this weekend, almost every one of these films is coming back.
Really? I want to see that so badly.
Me too. And it looks like such a unique film experience. B-Show, Brian, pick them. What do you got here? If you got to put your money down.
If I have to pick, I'll say Emma Stone because Lily Gladstone, I can see why she would get You mentioned social pressure, but she's also very talented.
Oh yeah,
But I
of
just
course she
heard so
deserves it
much
too.
good stuff about Emma Stone and her performance in Poor Things. I'd have to go Emma Stone.
Yeah, and look, to me, anyone could win this, honestly, because I heard that Naiad movie is not a great film, but the performances are fantastic. And Maestro Carrie Mulligan, every time I see her, I think she's so brilliant. I never see her twice, as far as I'm concerned. I feel like she's she's famous, but she's not that kind of famous. She's not like recognizable famous. I fell in love with her in Drive. I just couldn't believe her presence there. But we got everyone at Kevco saying Lily or Emma. Chris Matthews saying Gladstone or Stone. Joe Punch is saying the same thing. Slave Cheeks. We're all kind of saying the same thing. Supporting actress. Interesting category. This is a fascinating category. You have Emma Blunt for Oppenheimer. Would be a huge thing for winning for that, of course. Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, which is it was almost like a musical remake version of the classic Color Purple. America Ferrera and Barbie. Jodie Foster and Naiad, and Divine Joy Randolph, who I literally walked out of a movie theater in the holdovers and told Edie, this girl's winning every award. Shah, on paper, I mean, do you think this is just going to be more of the Oppenheimer sweeping through this?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a landslide for Oppenheimer at the awards, because I mean, dude, I haven't seen any of these other than Barbie and Oppenheimer. But like The Color Purple, the remake, I don't hear anybody talking about that. I don't even know what Naiad is.
It's a
and
biopic.
The holdovers I haven't seen. So
I'm
going to stick with Oppenheimer.
B-Show, Brian?
I said it before. I think clean sweep on Oppenheimer.
Wow.
I don't know enough about The Holdovers. I haven't seen it. Like Shah, I don't even really know what Naiad is. Same thing. I've heard like 3 people talk about The Color Purple, but no one's gone and seen it. So
this is tough for me because I really think Divine Joy Randolph, this was such a brilliant. Anyone who's seen it would just be like, my God. I think it's hers to win, but if I had to put money, yeah, I'm going to my heart on this one, guys. I'm making a heart bet. I'm going holdovers, but if I hear Emily Blunt's name, I wouldn't be surprised. But an interesting category, very, very different types of films there. Here's a big one, Shah. This is a meat one right here.
Yeah, man.
Best director. Oh, I'm so sorry. We skipped supporting actor. I'm so sorry. This to me is another 2-horse race. However, there's a dark horse in here in Poor Things, because people are obsessed with Poor Things. Of course, we have Ryan Gosling for Barbie. We have Sterling K. Brown, big fan of him. He's great in everything American Fiction. Robert De Niro, many other people have said what I've said recently. This is the best thing he's done in maybe 20 years in Killers of the Flower Moon. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. and Oppenheimer, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. B. O'Brien, do you think, just want to throw a monkey wrench in this conversation. Do you think because of the Barbie controversies, they might throw this to Gosling just so it wins something?
I would love to see that happen.
Can you imagine?
Just for the schadenfreude of the social media outrage. It would be amazing.
But if you had to bet, you're not going to bet that, right?
No, not Ryan Gosling. I don't know. This is a pick 'em, honestly, because I haven't seen Poor Things, obviously, but Mark Ruffalo is Mark Ruffalo. Robert Downey Jr. is fucking Robert Downey Jr. and Robert De Niro's the man. So
Robert De Niro is
just
acting.
Maybe De Niro.
Wouldn't hate it. Shah, what do you think? You think De Niro gets to pull this one away from Downey, or probably not?
It's hard for me to say it because I haven't seen Killers, but I can only imagine his performance, But Robert Downey, I mean, he was phenomenal in Oppenheimer. It's hard to top that. Ryan Gosling, I mean, I don't know, man. People were pissed that he got it over, but
it does seem stupid as fuck.
And Mark Ruffalo, I honestly wish Willem Dafoe had that instead of him.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset Dafoe didn't get nominated over Ruffalo.
Because I feel like he gets fucked over all the time, man. He's been in so many classics, and I don't know. He's probably my all-time favorite actor, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can't name somebody else that I've seen in as many movies as I deeply, like, passionately love.
More than De Niro?
Yeah, probably. I mean, De Niro's
been in a lot of bad movies.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how many De Niro movies do you actually like? Probably like 8, maybe 7 or 8.
maybe 10 out of 40,
maybe
50.
10. Yeah, and like half of them are
Maybe.
Scorsese. The rest, I mean, Heat, other than Scorsese movies, and fucking. Well, he's got a couple, but you know.
So who you thinking? Our DJ over here, all the way.
I'm gonna say Robert Downey.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going Downey, but if I hear De Niro's name, I'm just gonna be like, "Yep, deserves it." They all probably deserve it. What am I saying? But in the chat there, we got some people pulling for Brown, pulling for Downey, pulling for De Niro. But I really got to see this American Fiction movie. That looks like such a fun fucking film. That movie looks batshit crazy. Actually, the plot is insane. Let's go to Best Director because there's a lot of meat here, guys. Woof! You got some. Woof! Got some biggies here. Of course, you got Christopher Nolan, the odds-on favorite for Oppenheimer. And of course, Yorgos Lanthimos, unbelievable, being a category here with the legendary Martin Scorsese. Justine Triet, she's one of maybe the 8th female ever nominated for Academy Award. She seems cool as fuck, by the way. I seen her at the Golden Globes, and she seems fucking badass. And Jonathan Glazer has made some great films in the Zone of Interest. Oof. I think they already decided this is Christopher Nolan's award. But boy, Marty's 80. This was a labor of love. And Yorgos is going to be around for a while. I'm going Nolan on this. But again, if I hear Scorsese, I'm not going to be upset. Bisho?
I have to agree. I think if Killers of the Flower Moon would have gotten more buzz or more attention, maybe I'd go with Scorsese, but everything was just Oppenheimer. It was so big. It was so lauded over from the effects being the practical effects and taking chances with that to the way the characters were portrayed and the visual. I heard nothing but good things about Oppenheimer, and I heard very little about Killers of the Flower Moon. So I have to go Nolan.
Okay. Shah, I know you want your boy there to win for Poor Things, but you got to bet a little. You got to bet the mortgage on it. What are we doing?
I'm gonna say Marty because I've said Oppenheimer for every single one of them, and I think Oppenheimer is gonna win entirely too many. But again, it makes me sad not seeing Ridley Scott on here for Napoleon because that movie must be actually pretty bad if like no one gives a shit about it.
Yeah.
I've still yet to see it, but I mean, damn, dude, that was like my most like highly anticipated movie of the year.
I thought it would be in here. I thought Ferrari might be in here in some categories. Wrong.
Yeah.
That's the kind of a big story there.
That's why I'm saying it's a big deal that movies like Anatomy of a Fall, like that's fucking huge for Neon. You know? Best picture of the year? It's fun.
Yeah. Well, look at it. It's nominated for every major category, Shah. But also, the international films, we're not familiar with any of these other films other than Zone of Interest. Which is it was a UK thing. I don't know about any of these films. I don't think any of us do, but we've been very intrigued about that film. Be interesting to see if that is probably the most popular in this country. Now, this kind of pisses me off. We're just going to go here. This really pisses me the fuck off. The animated feature film. Boy, where do I begin? The Boy and the Heron, very popular. It looks like one of these classic anime type films. Elemental is a Pixar movie. Nimona, I don't know what that is. Robot Dreams, I don't know what that is. Across the Spider-Verse made $1 billion or some shit. Where the fuck is Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah,
where the fuck is that movie?
Or Ninja Turtles, right? Didn't that come out this year? Or was that this year?
And Ninja Turtles. Yeah. I mean, the Pixar movie, whatever. I mean, The Boy and the Heron is very popular. It's got famous people behind it. I don't know about Robot Dreams. If I had to just take a guess here, I'm going. They might want to throw this to the Spider-Man movie because of the success of The Boy and the Heron because it's very popular. But Bisho, were you surprised when you didn't see Mario Brothers in this fucking list?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I saw Elemental. The kids and I went to go see it at the theater, and it's an okay movie.
It's just a Pixar movie, right?
Yeah, it's a basic Pixar movie, and there's not a lot new stuff to it. And Across the Spider-Verse was fun, but it's really busy. Like I like the visuals of it, but it's so fucking busy. It was hard for me to even follow with the kids. So
it's like trying to jerk off to an energy drink commercial. like honestly, like I just too much
drinking
going
Surge
on
back in the day, and
it's like do the dude. I'm like, I just want to come. This pisses me the fuck off. And now listen, I'm going to say this just because it's in the chat. I am not surprised that Godzilla was not nominated for international feature film. Don't ask me why. Well, you guys, I'm not surprised. I don't know. I just feel like that's a very artsy fartsy category. You know what I mean, guys? Like, I just feel like it would have been weird if Godzilla was in there. And let's face it, they would have never gave it a fucking award, unlike the award it's nominated for, which it has the chance of actually winning. So before we move away from this, Shah, were you surprised Godzilla didn't get an international award? I'm not. I just
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah, because I heard more about Godzilla, especially the hype around it right now. I hear more about that than any of these movies. I'm also surprised Anatomy of a Fall isn't in the international film because I'm pretty sure it's a foreign film, right?
yeah, it's a French movie. It's a
Yeah.
French film, but that also speaks to how powerful it is that it gets in the regular, the English language category. Bisha, were you surprised? Because again, I just feel like if it was there, it would have been like a mockingly sort of nomination.
Oh yeah, I did. I was surprised that it was nominated for anything. So I was just
Mm.
happy to see that it got something. But no, man. Yeah, some of these picks just kind of get
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, some of them's whack. Adapted screenplay, very popular category. We've seen some very special people win this award from, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I think original screenplay they won, excuse me, but Tarantino. Uh, this looks like something Barbie could win because it's not nominated for some of the bigger awards, and people are upset. Oppenheimer, I think, is based on a book. I think these adapted but Barbie. Now, here's the thing: Barbie's adapted from a doll. It's not adapted from anything. It's very odd that they wouldn't put it in original screenplay. But I feel like they're going to feel pressure to give stuff to Barbie because they don't want people to yell at them anymore. So they'll give this to Barbie over anything else. But if Oppenheimer's sweeping through, so for me, I'm going to say probably Barbie for pressure, but it should probably end up in Oppenheimer's hands. Shah, what are you thinking there? Similar?
I'm gonna say Poor Things for that one. I haven't
Good win.
seen it again. I'm just guessing, but I can see him giving the trophy to Lanthimos for being artsy with the screenplay because I'm sure it's got a weird ass screenplay, right? Like it's
I can only
probably the
imagine.
weirdest one
It's
on
probably
there.
adapted from a fever dream,
Yeah, exactly. So,
a heroin overdose.
and I really think Poor Things is at least gonna win one thing.
It's got
And I
to
can
something.
see them, yeah, and I can see them given, one of the lower tier awards, such as the screenplay. Not to
Yeah.
downplay, writers too much, but I'm just saying, compared to the other ones of Best Picture and Best Actor, a little bit lower on the tier.
Yeah. B-Show, if you had to bet the mortgage on it here, would you just roll Oppenheimer on the dice because you just think it's wiping everybody out?
Probably, but you made a good point about Barbie, and that's what I was thinking. Is this the Make Good Award where they say, "Hey, look," like I think honestly that they recognize that Barbie was a phenomenon and that
It
it did
is.
really well and it had
It
some
is.
style, but I don't think it's going to beat out a lot of the other things. So maybe they decided to, okay, we'll put it in adapted screenplay so it doesn't have to compete with director, doesn't have to compete with best actor, doesn't have to compete with the other stuff. So
Yeah.
I might go Barbie actually on that one.
Yeah. Slave Cheeks is saying Barbie. Original screenplay. This is a great category. My
I mean,
God.
dude, hold on one second. I mean, the idea of just mentioning Barbie in any of these categories just sounds silly.
It does.
You know
It
what I mean?
really
Like,
does.
it's a
And I feel
fun
like
movie.
that's,
Come on.
yeah, we'll get to that because I
We're
think that's a
talking
big
about
part of the
Best
conversation.
Picture of the Year and Barbie. Come on, dude.
What's the
It was
runner
a
up?
fun movie, but it was a fun movie. But I don't need to see awards and Academy nominations and all this shit on the cover. It's not necessary. It wasn't a legendary masterpiece. Like it's a fun movie. It was as fun as Super Mario.
Yeah.
Like you can't put
Yeah.
Super
Now you
Mario
get
as the
nominated
best
for
picture
anything.
of the year.
So this is an interesting category because you got a couple of people here where this is something they kind of need. Past Lives was so touted in the pre-Oscar Golden Globes buzz, and it really just kind of got swept up away from people. May December is a controversial Netflix film. I have yet to see it, but it's kind of controversial. It's got a weird sort of reaction from people. Maestro, it went right to Netflix. Difficult, just like May December went right to Netflix. The Holdovers was in theaters for a week, and then it was on TV 3 weeks later. And Anatomy of a Fall, again, a foreign film. I feel like if the Holdovers is going to lose to all these other categories, it's going to win here. So I'm going to go with the Holdovers here. Shah, what are you going to go with here on paper?
Anatomy of a Fall. I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't
wild
seen
card.
any
Yeah.
of these, so it's like I'm just,
Mm,
throwing shit at the wall at this point. But
mm.
yeah, Anatomy.
B show.
I might have to go Past Lives. Because I have, other than you and a couple of people online, I haven't heard much about The Holdovers or
Mm.
Maestro. I've heard a little bit about Anatomy of a Fall, but when we were looking into Past Lives, I saw quite like it was really highly rated and
It had a lot of heat
reviewed.
on it. It really
Yeah.
did. I mean, people who saw it thought it was just a perfect film. Yeah, that would be interesting too, because then that gets an award. It's funny because then it's like, okay, we probably should have got more nominations, but we got the best screenplay, and it's a small market, A24 movie, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that could be it. But here's our big one, and then we'll move on from this. Okay, let's see who we got to beat here. All right, The Creator, not happening. Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe. Don't think so. Mission Impossible, no chance. Napoleon. Oh boy, this could be the problem here for our friends over in Japan. Woof. Shah, what are you thinking here?
Shit, man. I thought you were gonna give more credit to the creator. I'm not a sci-fi Star Wars kind of fan, but I saw that trailer and
It looks
I mean
beautiful.
the
I just don't think enough
visuals.
people saw it. Yeah,
Ooh,
I can't wait to watch that movie. I think it's on Peacock or Hulu right
yeah,
now. I
it,
have to
it
watch it.
looks phenomenal.
Phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal. That being
I'm
said,
yeah, I'm gonna say Napoleon though, because just those battle scenes from the trailer, like I can see that winning people over,
yeah, and it got nothing else. So it's like
Plus,
all these
I
positives.
want them to get some. I don't know, man. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how bad that movie is. I can almost guarantee you, once the uncut gets released, because he
People are
said
gonna
there is an
say it's no good.
uncut one,
Yeah.
people are going to change their mind because he probably had to cut out a lot of shit that he wanted to cut out.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure. I'm
and
sure.
I honestly, I don't give a fuck about the actual history of it and how accurate it is. Like, I'm not a historian here. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, you
don't
just want to
care
watch a
what
movie.
battle Napoleon was in himself and wasn't. Make it a good movie. As long as it entertains me for those 2 hours and 45 minutes, I'm cool with it.
So yeah, I like for me, I want it to be Godzilla, but I'm thinking it's gonna be Napoleon. B show.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be Napoleon's Gimme. As much as I would love Godzilla -1, because like I said, when you look at the American Godzilla movies and you look at the Japanese Godzilla, it's like ice cream to horse manure. It is so well done. I would love, love, love for it to be Godzilla, but this might be the one they kind of give to Napoleon.
Yeah, one thing's for sure. I don't think it's going to Mission Impossible. It could go to Guardians. I don't know. I mean, Guardians 3's got some gorgeous. You see some of the color shit in Guard. There was something about the use of color in that. There's a scene where they all have a different color spacesuit, and it looks so fun. And they're in this weird like organic planet that's actually an organic planet, like it's an organism planet, and everybody has yellow, pink, blue, and it's so yellow. It's so like, guys, look at this fucking. I'm not even doing this justice. This is fucking outrageous shit. Like it looks like something out of a '70s like trippy ass movie when they go to this planet. So that's part of it. And of course, the other effects, their animal stuff looks fantastic. They have a lot of animal special effects. But yeah, the gold, all the people made of gold. Like it's got gorgeous shit in it, man. It really fucking does. You guys got to see the scene where they're on that planet and they're like floating into the fucking organism. It's such a fucking. It's like something out of heavy metal fucking
See,
comic book.
that looks terrible to me right there. That final trailer screenshot, that looks horrible.
What is that? Oh yeah,
I don't know. That looks like shit though.
yeah. There's a fight with a Beastie Boys song in it too. Which is No Sleep Till Brooklyn. There's a whole fight scene with No Sleep Till Brooklyn. But yeah, like when they have this is a great scene too. This thing behind them like blows up and shit. It's got cool music. Worth checking out. Be sure you still haven't seen it, huh?
No, I haven't. Is it on streaming yet?
Yeah, it's been on Disney Plus for like 6 months,
Oh shit!
maybe more. Oh yeah, it's been there forever, yo. Yeah, you got to check it out. Yeah,
I do,
Guardians
man.
3,
I
at
like
least
on that.
6 months. Yeah, you got to get on that. So I do want to talk a little about the Barbie controversy, and then I want to talk about the other controversy. Jesus. So Greta Gerwig writes and directs and sort of spearheads this Barbie film. It becomes a cultural phenomenon. It makes $1 billion. It kind of drives so much interest and people see it and dress up and it becomes a date movie and a theme movie. Um, and there was just this presumption, guys, that she would get nominated for Best Director. And of course, that Margot Robbie, who I like quite a bit, from Harley Quinn, and she's been in quite a few other movies, and she's gorgeous and seems like a cool chick. Um, Neither one of them get nominated. And everyone has to coalesce around this ideology that, oh, it's because the patriarchy and it's proving the point of the movie. And America Ferrara, who probably did not deserve an Academy Award for that movie. I'm just going to go on a limb. I saw 10 minutes of Barbie and I just didn't think I could take more. Um, the snub, as if it's a snub, without even thinking of who are the other women that they gave it to over Margot Robbie that they feel don't deserve it. Or Greta Gerwig for that matter. Like, which director do we kick Scorsese out for Greta Gerwig? Do we kick Justine Theroux for Anatomy of a Fall? Out for her. You know, um, I think this is Much Ado About Nothing, but I expect that night and leading up to that night to see nothing but virtue signaling horseshit. Um, you know, uh, you know, I mean, CNN did a big story on it the other day, as if it's a story, as if we don't have multiple global conflicts going on. Shah, is this Much Ado About Nothing?
Yeah, it's Barbie. Like I was saying, dude, this is, I look at this as the same way I look at Super Mario. This is a fun movie,
Dude,
but it's not meant to be taken that seriously. You know what I mean? It's not a masterpiece. But as far as Ryan Gosling, I prefer his acting over Robbie, because like I
he's a
think it's
better
harder
actor.
to play. Well, I think it's harder to play Ken than a woman playing Barbie. Because again, growing up, every woman probably played with Barbies, and like that was their dream. So getting into that character, I'd imagine, isn't the hardest thing for an actress to do. But for a Ryan Gosling to act like a Ken, I think that that's a little bit more impressive. So I don't understand what the hype is over it. You know what I mean? I don't know why people are angry. Did people expect 15 nominations for Barbie this? Like I don't.
Yes,
What is the
yes, they
expect?
did.
That's crazy.
That's
Just
crazy.
it was a cultural phenomenon with Oppenheimer, but Oppenheimer is one of those movies people are going to talk about for years to come. It made, I don't want to say history, but the fact that he has practical effects in there and used no digital effects in 2023, like those are reasons that the Academy should nominate you.
Yeah,
No,
cinematography
not
wise,
a
it's
Barbie
gorgeous.
movie. You know what I mean?
Also, Shah, that cast in Oppenheimer is absurd. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you have famous people doing 4 or 5 lines in that movie, and then never
Like
see them again.
imagine if Sonic the Hedgehog like became a cultural phenomenon next summer with like fucking a Scorsese Jesus movie.
Well, they are making a
People-
Minecraft movie, so that could be.
Okay, yeah, okay. So imagine that and the Scorsese Jesus movie coming out at the same time, and people doing a double watch, right? Doing a double feature, and that goes viral. Does that mean that we should fucking put up the Roblox and the Minecraft movie? Like, come on, these are
We might
movies
have to.
that are fun, but they're not meant to be like the best picture of the year. Like, what is the expectations?
B show.
All these product placement movies coming up. I got to put my They Live sunglasses on. Jesus Christ.
Mm.
No, I think comparing Barbie to Oppenheimer is like the prom queen being pissed she wasn't salutatorian. Like that's what it is. It's a popularity contest versus this, and not to say Barbie, the art of directing and you know what I mean. All that stuff is an achievement.
Yeah, and
I'm
I like
saying,
Greta Gerwig. I'm sorry. I think Greta
yeah,
Gerwig's a great director. I like her quite a bit. She seems like cool as fuck. She's an indie broad, like doing indie films. Her movie that she got nominated for previously that she helped write, Lady Bird. I've seen Lady Bird like 4 times. I'm a fan. So it's not like I don't like Greta Gerwig. I just wanted to stress that. Go ahead, Bisho. I'm sorry.
no, because I agree with you. I'm saying it's not to slight the effort or the talents of some of the people involved, but just the whole thing was this big cotton candy popcorn. Hey, let's go have fun type of shit. It wasn't like this deathly serious um, project that Oppenheimer was. So I think it's dumb. I also think I don't want to talk about identity politics, but like I think whenever something becomes a movement, especially social media, like let's do it for the women's. When that doesn't get a certain reaction or compared to other films, it doesn't get as recognized. I think people get pissed, And sorry, I also think people are so used to just dumbed down movies now that when a movie like this gets really popular, they conflate that with a movie like Oppenheimer and being in the same
Yeah,
category.
they
They're both
do.
very
I think you're right.
successful,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Imagine like Lily Gladstone was like the first Native American woman who learned the whole complete like language different from her own Native American language, like groundbreaking thing, like telling the story of the Osage people and this like horrible thing that happened that isn't even in history. And then it's just like, yeah, you're gonna get an award, but the girl who plays the woman with no anatomy, who's Barbie, yeah, she's getting it too. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like it's a weird conversation to have, like where some people put this like work and ethic into it. And I'm not saying Barbie isn't a work, but I'm just saying it's like what Shah said. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like I loved Super Mario Brothers movie. It was one of my favorite films I saw all year. It really was. I'm not angry it's not nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. I'm upset it's not nominated for like the animated award where it could have been. Kevco said the set design, he's in the chat, said the set design and cast was great. Gosling's the only one I thought had a chance from that flick. Yeah, I seen the set designs. The Shah's seen Barbie. The set looks great. The shit looks good. That's not a fucking issue to me. I just think it's weird that you're trying to equate, Emma Stone doing full nudes like for scale in an artistic version of Frankenhooker practically. You know what I mean? And
No,
like
that's
Lily
what it
Glad,
is. Yeah.
no, but that's what it is. And
They
Lily
started making that
Gladstone,
meme, and it fucking rung in my head. I was like, "Holy
yeah,
shit! It
it's
really is
Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker.
It's
That
fucking
really is."
yeah, it's Frankenhooker. So it's just like, want a date? Like I'm sorry. Like we can't keep doing this. We can't keep placating everybody because they get upset. I'm very sorry. Margot Robbie is one of the most attractive women probably on earth. She is. She's probably one of the sexiest, most attractive. She got back end. Greta Gerwig got back end. These women got back end on $1 billion movie. They Do you have any idea how much they were compensated to be in this fucking film? And I'm supposed to be sad facey because they don't get to fucking we don't get to pretend that this is the same on a level of like Oppenheimer or fucking Lily Gladstone or Divine Joy Randolph, like who nobody's even heard. No, I'm sorry. I don't feel bad. I just don't. And I'm not hating on the movie. It's just not something I can get behind. But we have to talk about this before we go because it's just so huge. Um, I did not see this coming. I don't think any of us thought this was going to happen one day. The other day, it was announced, like seemingly out of fucking nowhere, that Netflix is now going to be the home of Monday Night Raw in January of 2025 for 10 years to the tune of $10 billion. That's right. 10 billion. Netflix. Unfucking believable story. Just an outrageous amount of money for a very boring 3-hour television show. Those of you who have Netflix without any with the like a premium Netflix, you will never see a commercial again. They'll you'll Netflix is also lowering the price for their lower tier going forward instead of increasing it. And of course, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, out of nowhere, becomes a board member of the parent company, TKO, which owns UFC and WWE. He is now a board member. I believe his salary is estimated somewhere at $30 million. Now, before we get to the elephant in the room, the sexual deviant elephant in the room, Shah, your first thoughts when you heard about these things that literally were not on anybody's radar as really happening?
Yeah, man. I woke up and I saw it, and I wasn't sure if it was real or not because it's so surreal.
Yeah.
But in my head, I mean, you could see the visuals. I mean, the logos are both, red. Like it makes sense. I can already see it, WWE Raw live on Netflix. But yo, they're kind of smart for that because Netflix has been falling off. And there's probably an active 1 million or so wrestling fans, right? That watch Raw. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but
yeah, it does a little. It depends, depends. A little
Right.
better, probably.
But that's a potential 1 million people that may not be subscribed to Netflix that now have to pay you monthly for years to come because it's a habit to watch Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
You know, like it could pay off, but 10 billion is a fucking crazy number.
Crazy number. Crazy number. Uh, and of course, Shah, what are your thoughts on The Rock there becoming like a chairman of the parent company? I mean, he's still a guy who could wrestle. He's still a guy who makes movies. He's still a guy. I mean, he has political aspirations, but this is a huge deal, even for somebody of his ethnic background to be this prominent role, which is something he said, like his grandfather and his father would probably not believe that he's now. I mean, this is a high exec. We're talking about a high level job at a Fortune 500 company that owns two massive revenue generating properties.
Uh, I don't want to say I'm surprised because obviously the money is crazy. Like he got a crazy bag for that one, dude.
Jesus.
So anybody would take that job. But at the same time, I thought he would be more so into politics before this. You know what I mean? Like that would have surprised me less if I heard he was trying to get into politics and eventually run for president one day. That wouldn't surprise me that much. I'm more surprised by this, but again, the money's right, man. Who's going to turn that shit down?
Yeah, yeah. B-Show, your thoughts? Again, this did seem to come out of nowhere.
So wait, you mean Ryan Satin didn't break this story?
No, none of the dirt sheets had this. I couldn't imagine how they didn't have access to this boardroom level of entertainment, boardroom entertainment story at the
That's
highest level of business.
that's unbelievable that none of them knew. Who
None
would
of
have
them
thought?
had it.
No.
None of them had it.
I think it's amazing. Here's something I thought of the other day. Meltzer and those guys, they always argue over ratings and the share of fucking fans over a certain age and stuff like that, while at the same time admitting that cable is dying. I think not to move the goalpost because we know the TV ratings have been down.
Sure.
The social media engagement's never been higher.
Yeah.
The YouTube views are pretty high.
High.
So there are people who are paying attention now, and maybe more so than ever. They're not watching every week. So maybe Netflix sees the power of that brand, and like Shah said, it's the same reason Peacock licensed the WWE content because they know there's a built-in network, and they're trying to drive those niche fans to their network for the different hubs. Netflix has been on its ass for a while. There was talks, I think, a year or two ago that maybe Apple Plus would buy them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now that's not necessarily going to happen. And I just saw an article that said that Netflix is trying to really push their live sports. So, I mean, this could be the beginning of something new. The Rock is still involved, right? With it's not called XFL anymore. It's something else.
The UFL. I think the Canadian or the UFL, UFSL, whatever the fuck it's called, merged with, whatever the fuck it was called, Vince's fucking vanity project there.
Alpha
What
Sports. But the other thing though about The Rock, this could be good for his presidential run because now he can say not only did he, because he could say I managed my own $5 productions, but really he's got a whole team of people around him managing that stuff.
Of
I'm
course.
sure he's involved, but he can now say, "Hey, I'm a board member of a major entertainment company," and he can parlay that into when people ask about, "Well, Rock, what is your executive experience?" He can just say, "Oh, I was on the board of this and that, and I ran $5." It's just padding his resume, so it doesn't surprise me.
Now I'll say two things quick here because we have to talk about Vince before we head over because we got a lot of stuff in Patreon. First and foremost, um, I I've had Netflix for as many years as you have. I've never canceled it because my kids watch it and I have kids. Many people I know will get Netflix, watch it for a series, and then not watch it until the series comes back, a la Stranger Things. That goes out the window with Raw because you're not going to do that with Raw. No one watches Raw WrestleMania month and doesn't watch it 11 months out of the year. So that it's kind of like comic books. I remember when I bought my comic book store, the retailer, the who's distributor rather, Diamond, was saying the best thing about this industry is anybody who comes in and drops like 30, $40 one month, it's not like you're never going to see them again because they're going to want to get the next book and they're going to want to get the next book. Yeah, in theory, it's a crackhead sort of ideology. It's very crack. But so I'll say that. The other thing is this. With the fact that now this negates sort of ratings, there's no ratings war anymore or something like that. And the fact that I was going to bring up that they are looking to get into sports. Don't be surprised if other sports follow here because we just had an NFL playoff season where a majority of the games were not on television. They were on Peacock, they were on Paramount Plus, They were on fucking Amazon Prime. I couldn't see certain baseball games, meaningless baseball games, because they were on Apple and I didn't have Apple at the time. So I do think the necessity is going to be there going forward. That being said, will people, if Netflix starts jacking the price, which they're known to do, will people keep paying it to watch Raw? I don't know. I think that, but it's an outrageous amount of money. We have to talk about Vince. This broke today. It's disturbing. There's not a lot of fucking wiggle room here for yuck yucks. Look, I don't think anybody listening in the chat, whether it's our buddy Dirk, Kevco, Joe Punches, Marquise, you name it, I don't think anybody woke up today and thought Vince was a good guy. Okay. And I had a conversation with Joe Numbers about this offline. The news story broke today that on top of the already sort of public, I guess, sexual assault, I don't know. Bisha, I want to be careful what I'm saying here. Maybe we should pull it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Wall Street Journal is blocked out because I'm not a subscriber. So I'm trying to find some of the information
With Vince
here.
McMahon allegations,
Yeah, USA
stuff.
Today. Here, we'll pull it up for
Okay, yeah. Let's just say what's in the paper. Vince is in ultra hot water here. We've now moved into Vince being accused of sex trafficking, assault of a former WWE employee. We've seen text messages, which include allegedly, possibly Brock Lesnar's involvement. Vince basically, the woman whose name got revealed previously. I don't know. This is such a shitty story. No pun
Brad
intended.
Shepard, I think from Ringside doxed her.
Oh, what a classy human being. Just another pillar of society. They dropped this woman's name. She worked for the company in corporate. Vince basically propositioned her with better jobs, and then he sort of used his relationship with her to be sexually abusive. Also, sex trafficking now has entered into the conversation. Bisha, what's the words we should be using here in the text? I don't want to.
So, all right, from what I can remember, I read through most of the text earlier preparing for the show. Basically, I think the trafficking comes into play when you talk about he allegedly arranged for her to sleep with Laurinaitis.
Kevin Dunn. John
Kevin Dunn?
Laurinaitis.
Was he named specifically? Wow.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry. I don't know that he was, but
well, I know he and it announced that he was leaving last week, and he's a part of
Okay.
Vince's inner circle. And there was mention in the text, not that all of the inner circle is involved physically, but that there may have been others, but that he was like sharing this. This is something that's I think is a felony in Connecticut or a misdemeanor. He was showing her pictures of them in the act or her in the act to people in like the tech, not the tech side, but like maybe the production side. Maybe that's where the Dunn allegations may come from. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I could be wrong.
he was showing pictures allegedly to other people in the company, threatening her. Allegedly, when they were trying to renegotiate with, they said, a UFC roster member and WWE person to come back to the company in 2021 or 22 or to sign a new contract, that she was allegedly offered up to this person, but it didn't go through because I guess snowstorm. Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah. So Vince was trying to pimp this woman out. The text messages are just, if you haven't seen them, I don't even. Okay. I feel weird because it's like it's so gross and it's so horrifying, but like look, I'm just gonna say this and then we'll talk about it. I'm not even the least bit surprised, shocked. I'm just not. Like, I know I'm supposed to say this is horrifying and shocking. I find there are people who are billionaires and millionaires pretending to be altruistic make my skin crawl. The horrible things you have to do to be worth the kind of money that Vince McMahon is worth, you don't want to know the things that what probably makes Vince come is a severed head in a toilet that he gets to pee in. Like, I couldn't imagine. This is a 70-something-year-old guy with billions of dollars, seemingly could do anything he wants, and this is what he's doing with himself. Shah, your thoughts on this? I mean, the text messages are just, if you haven't seen them, they're graphic is like the least word you could use.
Not surprised at all.
Not even a little bit.
I don't want to put this name out there, but there was a wrestler that I brought in with a friend of mine to do a signing. And this has happened with other wrestlers too, you know. And he had some sexual allegations against him. And he went to Japan and started wrestling in Japan because he couldn't wrestle here anymore. So you can put 2 and 2 together and figure out what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
But when he was with us, man, I mean, he was making comments about every woman that walked by, and I was like, holy shit, like these dudes are the horniest men on fucking earth. Like I've never seen another subculture of humanity be as horny as wrestlers in the pro wrestling world. So no, it doesn't surprise me, man. I think the whole culture is just fucked and disgusting. Hence the reason I can't look at wrestling the same ever since I had anything to do with it. And it didn't make me a bigger fan. As you can see, I haven't watched it for years now.
Yeah.
I don't even watch GCW. I don't watch Indies. I don't watch anything. You know,
You don't watch anything with a W in it.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening in wrestling. I don't even know what CM Punk has done since he went back to WWE. I don't know what he did in AEW. I have no idea. Didn't see any of it.
He goes by Benoit now. He goes by CM.
I'm sure he does. You know, but it doesn't surprise me. But I got to read the text. I haven't seen it.
Got a nice ring to it, Shah.
I haven't seen the text.
Have you seen the text?
No, I haven't. No.
They're up on one's up on the screen. Shit.
Anyone of you want to read it, feel free. B-Show, I know you're not going to read it.
I love it. That's
B-Show.
Sorry. I had to do it.
B-Show, were you of like mind with me, Shah? Like, I was just like, oh, wow, it's Vince.
Dude, this is definitely Vince. It says voluptuous body. This is voluptuous.
No man under 50 says voluptuous.
No. You know, it's funny. A friend of mine texted me, a close friend, and we grew up watching wrestling together. He texted me the other day, or earlier today, excuse me. And he said, so how long do we have to back away slowly from wrestling now and wait for this to blow over? And I'm like, motherfucker, I just assume everyone's like this. Like, we've heard so many stories. I always assumed that, even like going back to old school wrestling, that there's just this weird sect of like sex crimey type of shit that always happened.
Deviance. And it's a deviant business.
Yeah, and like, because you heard rumors all throughout the years of like why certain guys were picked in back office meetings, and was the joke warrior on a bearskin rug in front of Vince's fireplace. Like, there's definitely some weird shit that went on behind the scenes that explains things that can't be explained.
Right.
And add in the fact that Vince is worth like $97 bajillion. Yeah. There's a level of depravity there that matches.
I come gold. What were you gonna say, Shah?
By the way, I just noticed this was happening in the middle of COVID. As soon as like everybody was terrified of COVID, people were in their house masked up. This guy was trying to have cum swap and gangbangs.
Yeah, this was deep COVID. This was like COVID on. Yeah, I'll read a little bit of it because I know people want to hear the voice. So I'll just read a little of it, and then we're gonna go to Patreon. And again, this is just a little of me reading Vince. I like how Vince goes He types you are. This guy's worth $100 billion.
That's a fucking.
You need your panties ripped off and 3 big black dicks in all 3 holes at the same time. Way up your pussy. He spelled pussy Pussey, like Gary Busey or something. And way up your ass, as far as they will go, but even further. And the thickest cock goes down your throat, so it makes you gag. He's 75 years old. You gag and convulse as those big black cocks. Oh my God, he wanted her to fuck New Day. Big black cocks pound away. It feels from the start. All of his yours are you are. So you know he's not talk to text. You're being assaulted, but it's made you come nonstop. Just one continuous constant orgasm. And just before you pass out, those big black dicks squirt their loads of cum inside you. As you lay on your stomach, the cum is coming out of your holes. I'll turn you over and jack off all over you. He's 75 years old here. 74, 75. I just don't even. Oh, thank you, Mr. Isaacs. I really don't want to read anymore. I know everyone wants me to read. I know y'all want me to read it. I just.
Oh, here we go. Here's what I was talking about a minute ago. This is to her. I just passed my phone around to a bunch of guys in the tech crew. They were screaming, OMG, she's fucking beautiful. Look at that ass. I'd like to get that. 12 guys. I stopped to count. There were 12.
All right. I'm going to say this. If you're a tech guy and Vince McMahon comes over and goes, when do you see the ass on this broad? Are you going to go, sir? I find that offensive. I don't want to get about. I, this is like the king asking everybody if his joke is funny, and then everybody go. I'm not justifying the 12 guys. I'm saying that motherfucker is a dangerous, scary billionaire who controls your fucking life. And look what he's doing to this poor woman. What the fuck you think he's going to do to some tech guy who goes, Vince, no offense. I'm horrified by this. I think it's disgusting. That dude would have been homeless. Vince would have had that guy ruined for life. You know, I don't, you know, and I'm not condoning the people going along with it. I'm just saying this is a scary, powerful guy. There's a reason why everyone laughs at Tony Soprano's jokes at the fucking table, at the back of the fucking deli. Okay. There's a reason. Okay. Because he's scary and they know what happens if they get on his bad side. So I'm not about to justify these other guys' behavior. But if I'm some fucking dude holding a camera shot and Vince starts showing me dick pics, am I going to fucking throw a temper tantrum? I mean, what would you do? Honestly, I know it's an unfair thing to say, but I'm just saying that was my thought. But before we wrap this up, Shah, what do you think is going to be the outcome here? I feel like the outcome is going to be nothing. Honestly, I just think it's going to be nothing. I think Vince is going to outlive this, and then people are going to move on. I'm dead serious.
Yeah, I honestly don't want to get dark, but I think Vince is going to probably end up dying from
before
all these things come up. It's going to stress him out and give him a heart attack. Because
he'll get away with it.
He'll get away with this and something else will pop up. I feel like, the last few years he's constantly been accused of something. So, I mean, it's all coming to the surface, And again, he's 75, 76, whatever he is.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
old as fuck.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah. B-Show, anything going to happen to this? Honestly, like, I don't know.
I think he's going to, because he's got the money to stretch it out in court.
Of course.
It's going to take forever.
Yeah.
And he's going to do the snooker thing. He's going to come in a wheelchair and go, brother. And like he's on dementia shit.
I'm in a diaper. What are you going to do to me? I'm in a diaper.
Exactly. He wore a neck brace for the steroid trial. He's going to be full on diaper, fucking drooling and shit. Like, yeah, no way.
My pee-pee don't work, B-Show.
It'll probably go somewhere. They'll settle. The weird thing, though, is I thought he already paid her off. So settlement's probably.
Then he stopped paying her, and that's why he violated that's why this was able to go public. He stopped. He stopped the payments.
So I don't know, man. I think he's going to stretch it out and die before anything really happens. His estate will fucking figure it out. But
I think so too.
It's just another one of these American fucking mafioso type kingpins who skates until the end. Yeah. Unfortunately,
nothing will happen to him. Nothing. What can you do?
There was allegations of him and Christy Hemme too before, like, because she wigged out.
We've been hearing about this for 30 fucking years, man.
Rita Chatterton, what was it, 86?
Rita Chatterton, yeah, the referee, the ring announcer lady from my era when I was a kid. The ring announcer lady. This has been going on forever. Rich people get away with disgusting shit because they're disgusting fucking people. There's no altruistic billionaires. I'm sorry. And I'm not making light of it. It's awful. It's beyond repugnant. But the reality is, I just saw a thing the other day. Somebody brought up Russell Simmons, right? Russell Simmons. We should know who Russell Simmons is. He's a very important person in music. I'm sure everybody knows that is. Russell Simmons is hiding in like Thailand or something since Me Too. Okay? He's living in like a monastery somewhere. He will never come back to America again. The Puffy allegation, Shah, right? Like, look at what we're hearing about people of wealth and power. Look at these things that we're hearing, right? There's something about some men that when they get power, they become Caligula, right? Shah, I mean, Shah, like you don't even hear about the Puffy stuff anymore. It doesn't mean it didn't fucking happen.
Yeah. The Russell Simmons thing, that he was, I mean, I don't want to give him any credit for doing it, but he was kind of smarter than any of these dudes. He saw it coming and he bounced.
Bounced.
Yeah, he left so he could
never coming back.
All of it. Yeah, he's never coming back.
Never coming back.
Yeah, the Puffy stuff is going to be crazy though, man. I mean, there's a lot of allegations against them, but I feel like a lot of them, because a lot of the people that are suing him are suing him, anonymously. I was listening to Star from Star and Buckwild, and he was saying, a lot of these people are just looking for a handout. They just want some money.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Because, they don't have to pay for lawyer fees. The lawyers will just pick up these cases because they'll, they think they might have a chance of winning and they might get 20% or whatever. Right. And if they don't, then, the accuser's name never comes out. So essentially you can pretty much just sue Puffy, and just blame him, and he might get money. And if you don't, nobody will ever know.
Yeah, the Russell Simmons stuff is pretty terrible
Wow.
too. It's pretty awful, and like I just I have no listen. I look, it's I don't. I'm from working people. I'm a working person. I'll probably die with a job as an old man having to still work. Okay, there's something about people with excessive money and their habits, whether it's drugs, whether it's fucking sex. My God, I mean, the stories go on and on and on. Vince is a different type of person because of the industry he's from, but the story, Bisho, the names have changed, but the game is the same. Rich man, billionaire, untouchable, pays people off for sex, sexual deviant, you know, disgusting human being. And rinse, repeat, right?
Yeah, and I think it goes to I don't know who talked about this recently, someone online. It's just the mindset of people who, if you've ever met people that operate in high positions, even if they're not overtly evil, you can see the tendencies. You can
Yeah.
see that sociopathy, not to overuse a psychology term that I might be using wrong, but like there's a certain disconnect. There's a certain justification they go through where like they're in their own way, they're going out to get what they're after.
Right.
I'll justify doing what I have to. I'll try to, make it fair for people, but I'm getting what I need.
I work
And then
20 hours a day and sleep 45 minutes on the train, like that, and I'm on the
yeah, but
treadmill 90 minutes, another 90 minutes.
yeah, and then like a guy like Vince McMahon, allegedly, or these other people who like, do this shit and get away with it. There's this power that they crave that once they get to that point, they're untouchable. They just do whatever they want. So that's why you never usually see these billionaire people, you know, who are all the super nice and not getting into these issues, because the people that want that kind of power and responsibility generally are not the most connected, to humanity.
Yeah, don't have a lot of empathy. I mean, listen, it's gross, it's horrifying, but to me, it's rich people shit. You know what I mean? It's just the behavior of the look. There was no plumbers on Epstein Island. Okay, there was no, there was no, there was no working class people. There was no night clerk or a school security guard on Epstein's plane going, yeah, let's go fuck some teenage girls. No, it was the wealthiest of the wealthy, the powerful of the most powerful. It was hedge fund people. It was political people. These people are disgusting. And yeah, Kevco, I said that. I said that on Twitter. I was like, I'm surprised Vince wasn't on that list. Well, Vince has his own list he's on now. And we're gonna find out what happens. But did my false teeth fall into my kale salad this morning? No. It's like, oh, Vince, yeah, he's disgusting. Oh, okay. And I moved on with my day. It's horrifying. I'm not belittling the accusations. I'm just saying I presumed that Vince was this my whole life. So, if you didn't, I'm sorry that this shocked you. But we have so much to get to over at Patreon. We have a ton of trailers, some really exciting shit we're going to be talking about. So please consider heading on over to patreon.com/Spitball Media. $5. You get there today and you can get in on that Q&A. Let's do our plugs. Let's plug the Deathmatch Outlaws. Let's plug the Jucifer, Yarcifer, Shosifer. Let's plug Cassette Classics 86 on YouTube, the Down on the Thundercast, and the return officially next week. Don Tony and Kevin Castile. That's going to be a show next week. Necromaniacs podcast this week. I think they did an Argento film this week. You should be checking them out each and every week. And of course, the Inhuman Experience podcast. I will be joining my friends across the pond over the weekend at Ringsiders Wrestling. For the Royal Rumble. They do a little recap there the next day. I'll be on there for a little bit. Mojo and Dirk's Most Dastardly Show. And of course, Jeff Lippity-Lippman's Garden of Doom. We also have the Old Guy Metalcast, funkbetty.com, our good friend, Mr. Ronald Anderson's clothing company. Be checking that out all the time. You should be ordering stuff from funkbetty.com. And of course, MJW Games, Cherry Jesus on YouTube and his band Kaiser. And of course, the Red River Podcast. That's our boy Sam Hoyos in the band Playing Dead. Bio Geeks, our friend Fatty 316, and the High Marks Podcast, Midnight Mass Creature Cast, the Weekly Detour with our good friend Anthony Alston and his pal Teddy, and of course the Guns and Geeks Podcast. Shah, anything on Planet Mondo this week?
Not yet, but I'm hoping. I'm working on it. I still haven't finished it yet, though. But
okay,
I'm working on some things. But yeah, subscribe.
People need to subscribe. Subscribe to Planet Mondo, and of course, B-Show. Anything on the old channel? You dropped a scorching hot Patreon exclusive this week on our channel.
Well, thank you. No, nothing on the channel yet. I was meaning to get to some stuff, but it's just been one thing after another. So stay tuned. I'm putting something up soon, though. I promise. I got to get something out in February. So bshowbrian.com.
Yeah, and again, Patreon will remind you, and we'll remind you in the extra bonus show. Let's get those questions in, okay? We'll give you this weekend to get them done. You'll probably have maybe till the end of Sunday, and of course, we're going to be bringing that each and every month. That'll be your other bonus show, and then we'll get the link up in February next week, of course, for that as well. Thank you guys for checking us out. We really appreciate everybody in the chat and everybody spreading the word. Please hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and we'll see you next week on Spitball Media Podcast.